Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to our episode of A Time for Truth show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, and it's a pleasure to be with you again today. We're going to discuss something that in the last few years in our country, possibly even worldwide, has been really distressing, been very confusing, and that's truth. A way to really be happy, a way to have a calm society. Is there a way? It seems like each day that we pass by, some other catastrophe or malady or epidemic, whether it be biologic or technological, is occurring. And sometimes the reality or the truthfulness of it is left to a little bit of skepticism. So today, I have a really important guest who's going to talk to us and give us a different way of looking at things and a way of bringing calm, not only to your family, to the community, but to the United States of America at a time where it needs it so badly. So engineer, please put on the pictures of our guest, Mr. Jim Mathers, the CEO of Energy Professionals, one of the most respected and successful natural gas and electricity broker and consulting companies in the United States of America. He received his nuclear engineering degree from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1983, and there you see him with his lovely wife, Fume Mathers. Jim drove nuclear submarines for the U.S. Navy until 1988 and is a professional engineer, having worked for the U.S. government managing Trident submarine new construction. He trained spiritually as a counseling auditor, helping people to reach their true potential. He did this at the Washington, D.C. Founding Church of Scientology. Scientology meaning logos study, skio knowledge, the study of knowledge. Mr. Mathers directed training and management for East Coast Promotions, the leading marketing firm for over 200 small businesses in Virginia, Maryland, and the D.C. area. Having experienced the workability of L. Ron Hubbard's technology, he has presented its use throughout the globe, also to the Nation of Islam, to many religious leaders of all faiths, and many other community and international leaders. Through his humanitarian endeavor, he has helped bring calm and social integrity as a global ambassador of the Way to Happiness International for over 30 years. And engineer, if you bring him up on the screen, I want to introduce to our audience and our viewers, there he's going to come, Mr. Jim Mathers. Hello, Jim.
Hello, sir. Nice to see you, Dr. Fialkoff.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. And you know what? I want to get right to it because there's so much craziness happening in our world today. And you have this program, this Way to Happiness, that I wanted you to just go ahead and start and tell the viewers, first of all, what was it that got you started? Why did you feel that this program was going to be instrumental in your life or in the life of your community?
Well, you know, I was lucky. I had a dad and a mom that taught us to be honest. My dad said it's more important to tell the truth and pay the consequences, but to be always feeling good with yourself and to maintain your integrity. And I went to the Naval Academy, and it was almost like it was an example orchestrated to test my integrity as we were swearing in to say we would uphold the Constitution of the United States. There was a few bad players that were going through all of the dorm barracks of 1,000 guys and stealing money and things from these brand new midshipmen. And I thought, wow, in every group, there are people who don't believe in honesty and integrity. But the vast majority of the group does believe in honesty and integrity. And in all my time serving the country and, you know, chasing Russian submarines all over the world, and I really learned that the majority of the people want peace, they want truth, and they want integrity. So about 30 years ago, I was introduced to this little booklet called The Way to Happiness. Now, this is a special cover. You can get custom covers for these books printed. This is the United Nations International Day of Happiness. And so we made a special cover for the booklet because this little booklet has got 21 guides to common sense or moral rightness, including simple things like love and help children, honor and help your parents, do not murder, things like that. But two of my favorites are, one is seek to live with the truth, that's number 7, and the other one is be worthy of trust. Now, it's interesting how these two fundamentals have had a huge impact on my life. You know, because when people lie to you, it actually reduces your ability to survive. And it could be as simple as you're in a business and you want to sell something, and a person who's supplying you with the goods that you need to work with to help other people in life, and you take money from other people in life, and it turns out the guy who sold you the raw material lied, and now you have bad products that reduces the survival of your customers. So it says in here, do not tell harmful lies. You know, don't lie to people about things that are very important. And the other thing I thought was great is in the same chapter, it says, do not bear false witness. You know, the penalties for perjury are sometimes worse than some violent crimes. And people don't realize this, that it's not a matter of standing up in front of a judge and saying, I swear to tell the truth. It's, can you stand in front of your family, your friends, your customers, or your countrymen and say, I told the truth. You should tell the truth too.
You know,
we
Jim,
see this today. Yeah.
You know, Jim, I got to tell you something. That hits the mark in my heart so much because, you know, as a doctor, and I've been a surgeon for 40 years, and I'll just tell it as a story. I had a patient one day came in, and she said to me that, you know, this tooth has to come out because it has a very deep cavity. And she was a new person, came for me for another opinion. I looked. I couldn't see anything, and I took some x-rays, and I couldn't see anything. And she was ecstatic, and I was thinking to myself about this practitioner who had done this misdiagnosis, will be kind, this misdiagnosis or this false diagnosis. How can this person live with themselves? And so many people wondering, well, how do I get rid of my high blood pressure? How do I keep away my headaches, my migraines, my backaches? And you know, I always, to me as a doctor, I always said, you know what, you can't be stressed out and hiding something inside that is so horrific for another human being. So you know what, I totally agree with you. And what I want to do, because you have so much to cover, engineer, if you have that video about truth, If you get that ready while Mr. Mathers is talking, okay? And you let me know when you have it ready. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, the thing is that people don't realize how much telling lies can cause so much suffering, whether it's your family, your friends. You could have friendships break up after 20 years because somebody else is lying to both of them about each other. Businesses fail because too many lies in the workplace. You know, you look at our country, if there's too many lies to the population gets worried and upset, and the survival rate goes down. I mean, currently you have way too many lies floating around in the society today, and it has a bad impact on the economy, but also on their lives. Literally, you know, people's mental and physical health is going down.
Absolutely. You know, there's a definite correlation between stress and disease, illness. Obviously, we all know the common cold when you get stressed out. You know, the engineer has your video. So, engineer, put the video on of Mr. Mathers and the way to happiness, please.
Happiness. True joy and happiness are valuable. If one does not survive, no joy and no happiness are obtainable. Trying to survive in a chaotic, dishonest, and generally immoral society is difficult. Any individual or group seeks to obtain from life what pleasure and freedom from pain that they can. Your own survival can be threatened by the bad actions of others around you. Your own happiness can be turned to tragedy and sorrow by the dishonesty and misconduct of others. I am sure you can think of instances of this actually happening. Such wrongs reduce one's survival and impair one's happiness. You are important to other people. You are listened to. You can influence others. The happiness or unhappiness of others you could name is important to you. Without too much trouble using this book, you can help them survive and lead happier lives. While no one can guarantee that anyone else can be happy, their chances of survival and happiness can be improved. And with theirs, yours will be. It is in your power to point the way to a less dangerous and happier life. Seven, seek to live with the truth. False data can cause one to make stupid mistakes. It can even block one from absorbing true data. One can solve the problems of existence only when he has true data. If those around one lie to him or her, one is led into making errors, and his survival potential is reduced. False data can come from many sources: academic, social, professional. Many want you to believe things just to suit their own ends. What is true is what is true for you. No one has any right to force data off on you and command you to believe it or else. If it is not true for you, it isn't true. Think your own way through things. Accept what is true for you. Discard the rest. There is nothing unhappier than one who tries to live in a chaos of lies. Do not tell harmful lies. Harmful lies are the product of fear, malice, and envy. They can drive people to acts of desperation. They can ruin lives. They create a kind of trap into which the teller and the target can both fall. Interpersonal and social chaos can result. Many wars began because of harmful lies. One should learn to detect them and reject them. Do not bear false witness. There are considerable penalties connected with swearing or testifying to untrue facts. It is called perjury. It has heavy penalties. The way to happiness lies along the road to truth.
Wow, that's all I got to say is wow. So, you know what? It's so appropriate to what's going on in today's world. I think if we got this booklet out to the whole country, it'd be interesting what would happen, you know?
Well, can I tell you a story about handing out thousands and thousands of these booklets in South Central LA?
Absolutely, please.
So we are working with several different religions and trying to make Compton and the area a little safer, because the murder rate, and this is about 10 years ago when we started the peace rides, the murder rate was climbing. And there was just the general crime in South Central LA it was a dangerous place. So there were some motorcycle clubs that got together with a couple of friends of mine, and they said, listen, you guys are like knights in shining armor. Can you work with us, and we'll do peace rides through Compton and South Central, and we'll hand out this little book called The Way to Happiness. And the motorcycle guys are like, well, I don't know what the book is, but riding for peace, we're in. Our first peace ride, we had about 150 motorcycles from various different clubs, got together, different religious leaders were involved. We were all there. We handed out, I don't know, 5,000 or 10,000 of these booklets in South Central.
Wow.
And then we decided to come back every month on the fourth Sunday of the month. And we did this always on a Sunday afternoon, and they would block all the roads, and it got to where we had 1,000 motorcycles and other guys in a 3-mile long parade going through South Central, and we ended up in a park, and we had 10,000 people in the park, and everybody had a booklet, and we were all holding it up. But here's what really happened. Month by month, the murder rate and the violent crime rate in South Central kept dropping. Wow. So much so the police, who in the beginning were like, oh, this is a pain and we don't want to do your cavalcade thing, they're like, you guys got to keep coming back, because we took a few months off and the crime started going back up. But they said, no, we need this every month. Get more of those booklets, because we don't know how or why, but since you started, the crime rate dropped and the area was more calm and peaceful. And wow. I can tell you, having been around the world, people do read this, and when they read these little pieces of truth, the area changes.
Wow.
So we do need to get more booklets out. And I'll tell you, in the very first page of this booklet, it says, why I gave you this book.
Uh-huh.
And it's because your survival is important to me.
Right.
And it's true for me. Your survival, Ben, and your viewers, all of my friends around me, your survival is important to me. So I try to do effective things to help increase the survival of my community, my friends, and the people I haven't even met yet.
Absolutely. You know what, Jim? I always tell this story, how when I'm flying into New York, because, you know, New York is so big and sprawling and all the lights. And when you come in and you see the Empire State Building in Manhattan and the bridges, and I look down, I go, there's so many people down there, and we're all coordinated. And one guy decided to be, you know, a sanitation guy. Some other guy's a basketball player. Some lady's making bakery goods. Some guy is a fireman. You know, some woman decided she's going to have 4 kids and raise a great family. And we're all down there or up here and coordinated. I totally agree with you. I think that it's beautiful when we can actually acknowledge each other. I mean, this book is amazing. I was going to ask you a question. What was, you know, this author Hubbard, what was Hubbard's purpose with this book? Because I see it's multi-denominational, right? This is not for one specific creed. It's for everyone, right?
Right. Well, actually, point number 18 is, you know, respect other religions, respect the religious beliefs of others. And I've actually worked with Muslim and Jewish leaders and Christian leaders, and I was baptized Catholic, raised Lutheran, so I'm kind of multi-denominational myself as a kid. But respect the religious beliefs of others, and I've studied all the major religions, and the civilizing force of every religion, at the very foundation of each religion, is to create a better world for each of us to live in harmony.
Right.
And I think I heard a story that Mr. Hubbard actually wrote this book because he was a writer in the 30s in Greenwich Village, and New York was the friendliest, one of the friendliest towns in the world, that you could walk down the street and meet people from all over the world. And he had walked back in the, you know, late 70s, early 80s, and people were less happy. And he actually wrote this book because he wanted New York City to return to this place where people from all parts of Earth could come and trust each other to be kind enough to each other to create happiness.
Right.
And I thought that was a beautiful story when I heard it. And I've been in New York City many, many times walking on the street, and I just start walking up and saying hello to people. That's just me. But I try to carry this book with me to hand it out to others, because we can create happiness around us. It does help to have a little guide to remind us to be worthy of trust, and you know, it even has a chapter on the 21 virtues, or the 20 virtues, sorry, that try to treat others as you want to be treated yourself, so that you can create waves of good feelings that go out from you through many, many people, of passing along some good thing that you did, some good little aid that you gave somebody, and they in turn keep passing this on. It's a wave of calm and peace and happiness that can be created by one person.
It's beautiful. You know, I want to tell the viewers a funny story. One of my buddies, who's a Harlem Globetrotter, Bobby Hunter, one day I was talking to him, and he said, you know, I met that guy. He looks like Ray Milland with that hat that he wears. And he goes to me, you know, this guy Hubbard, he came into our dressing room, into the Globetrotter dressing room after one of our games, and because he knew Meadowlark Lemon and Curly Neal. And then he came up to me, and he says, you're Bobby Hunter, right? And Bobby said, yeah. Who are you? And he goes, I'm Mr. Hubbard. And, you know, you're going to do something very important in Africa one day. And so it was very interesting, because about a year or two ago, he started getting all these contacts with Africa, and it actually has started to occur. And so Bobby, you know, just said to me, wow, I can't believe this guy. You talk about the Globetrotter. He really did something with the ball too, because now I'm doing it. So amazing man. I was going to ask you a question, because we have a little time left in the show, and I'm going to have you back for these other chapters. What do you feel that you would like to convey to our viewers today, you know, who are watching? The country's in the middle of a lot of disarray. We have about a minute and a half. What do you want to convey to those Americans out there?
Well, number one, that you, as a single person, are important. And you can do something. If you're not happy with the way things are going right now, sometimes people feel like, I'm too small and insignificant to actually change the government. But I try to remind my friends, you are the government. You know, each of us working together can create a better world. And the one thing I'd highly recommend is go to thewaytohappiness.org. It's real easy, thewaytohappiness.org, and find out how you can get your own copies. And it's really inexpensive. You can buy a dozen and give them out to your friends. This does even have a chapter on government, and it says support a government designed and run for all the people. Common sense. But it tells you what you can do. So you should check out this book and see what you can do, because you are important and your survival is important. And there is something you can do about it. So that would be my final message. And thank you, Ben, very much.
You know what? Thank you for being on the show. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
It really is. The show, you know, I as a doctor, I really believe in positive energy. And this show, I told the engineer we're going to have to hold the walls together because there's too much energy coming out. And for the viewers watching today, let's take what Mr. Mathers say. Let's take this philosophy of happiness. Let's help each other out. And let's preserve the United States of America. I know all Americans really love our country. We're all there for us. Let's communicate with each other, and let's apply this, and let's really just create a happy day, a happy life, a happy future. So for those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. We'll have Mr. Mathers back again. And from A Time for Truth show, we'll see you at the next episode.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got. The world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet